Now, the shape of a heart appears in your signature and in a lot of your pieces.
Yeah.
Why? Like, what does it symbolize for you?
It's a great question. How the heart started for me was, it goes back to your question of what do you do when you're in a slump, or like when you're in a mental block or a creative block, whatever the word anybody wants to use. What happened to me was like me 4 years ago, like a year before I quit my job, I was setting up for an art show and I couldn't think of anything to paint. So I was working at a greenhouse out of my parents' backyard at the time, and I just started painting hearts on the wall. I didn't even know how to really draw spray paint a heart, like it was a sloppy heart, and I just kept writing, follow your heart and it'll work out. I had no idea what that means. To this day, I really don't even know what it means. But what it means is, I just kept telling, I did that for like 2 weeks straight. I just did canvases full of hearts. And I was never intending to sell them. I never wanted to do anything with them. I just kept writing, follow your heart. Here you go. If you follow your heart, it's all gonna work out. And I kept doing that. And then when I started putting it out there, I liked it more and more and more. And I'm like, this is me. Like I'm the definition of following your heart. So I'm like, I'm gonna make this my symbol or my logo or my whatever you want to call it in today's state. But it started out just from an organic like creative block. It was like, I want, everywhere I look when I'm painting, I have to remember why I'm doing this, and it's for me and it's for my heart. So I just include it in everything. So every time I look at a canvas, I'll see every single canvas you've ever seen of mine has a heart in it, like over the last like 3 years. And it's because I wanted to be able to make sure that I know every time I look at my canvas, that's why I'm doing it.
So it's like a bit of a reminder for you.
It's a reminder. Everything, all this is for me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. No, I'm joking, but yeah.
So it brings me to my next question. If you didn't have to worry about money and your lifestyle was assured, you and your family's lifestyle was assured, would you still bother selling your art, or do you think the creation of these canvases, of the murals, of your work in general would be fulfillment enough for you?
It's a good question. Like, I mean, I have different goals in art because I didn't come from classical art training and so forth. My goals expand to, like, I want to eventually be a creative director for like, I want to go into places like Louis Vuitton or museums and do seasons and sections and create things. And unfortunately, to do that, I have to be at a scalable, sellable level.
Gotcha,
So I've understood my value has to be there. Like, I've understood the entrepreneurial side of the art world, and it's if I just keep giving away canvases free, why would people care about them?
Right. It sounds like selling builds credibility.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Like, unfortunately, people attribute a quote-unquote success not to the dollar value that I make, but that I sell stuff.
Right. That's
I collaborate with brands that pay me. Like, it's not that it's not the money. It's not that the more I make. It's just that there's an association with value to his work. If I just kept giving away stuff for free or just put it up on the wall, there's no value to what I do. And if I'm not creating value, why am I doing it?
Right.
Not dollar value for my pocket, value to just the outside viewer. It's like, oh, Anthony's arts, that canvas is $10,000. He probably got there somehow, right? Like, let's look into how he got to this point.
Right.
I didn't just start selling my canvases for $10,000. I got to it somehow.
Yeah, you started giving them away, and then they were $100, then they were $1,000,
and it's $400, and they're $1,000, and that's exactly right. And it's supply and demand, simple economics.
Now, in a lot of your art pieces, well-known figures or celebrities, like for example Muhammad Ali or even like Mickey Mouse, appear in your art. When you're using images of these well-known people, well-known figures, as an artist, are you allowed to use these figures like under artistic freedoms, or do you have to obtain the consent of the person or their estate before you do that?
So that's a good question. A lot of the images I do use, I'll have to obtain a copyright or some form of purchase of the image, but a lot of them I'm altering. It's 50-50 with me. So this Ali, I do not own the copyright to, but the way under like the artistic freedom of it goes is I've altered this image to a degree where I'm no longer selling the portrait, meaning like I've blown him up out of proportion. I put paint on his face and drips and all this different stuff, where if I took someone's image from online, framed it, and said I took the image, that's copyright, and I make multiples of it, I'm stealing. I'm totally repurposing this.
Okay, and you also mentioned that you sometimes edit these
Yeah,
images,
a lot of images. Like the Benjamin Franklin's winking at us.
Yeah, he's winking. And I know you put Muhammad Ali in a like colonel suit as well before.
Yep, I've done that with a bunch of celebrities. I put them in soldier suits. I've put dots on their face. I try to alter as much as I can when I can, if it makes sense for the image. But yeah.
Do you have to again sort of get the consent of that person to alter their image, or is it again like an artistic freedom because you're...
The line's very thin. It's a weird line, to be totally transparent.
Yeah.
I've talked to many lawyers about this. I have a legal team. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no. I have lawyers that help me with this type of stuff. And at a current state, could anyone go after anyone for anything? Yes, you can do that with anybody doing anything. But I'm not making a comedy or anything derogatory about any of these people. If I put something negative towards like defamation of their character, if I did like X's across their faces or like hate or I was spewing something negative or made a comedic turn at it, like where I was making fun of them, put devil horns on him or like whatever it may be, I'm an easy target.
Right.
If anything, I'm uplifting them. That is my only goal here. I'm trying to idolize them.
Images,
yeah, like I'm idolizing them. I'm using them for ideal purposes, not negative. But to the sum of all of that is, at any given time, I'm allowed and not allowed to do this.
Gotcha. And that you have to, I guess, consult your legal team and sort of...
Everything I've done today has been perfectly fine. I got a really quick funny story is when I started doing Mickey Mouse, I did a picture of Mickey Mouse, and everyone told me, everyone told me I wasn't allowed to. Mickey is like the most copyrighted image in the world.
Makes sense.
Anyone, 100%. And then I get a company that I was working with reached out to Disney on my behalf, and the image that we sent was the Mickey. And when I got the call that Disney was, I thought I was going to be sued. I'm like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to sue. Disney's calling me. What's Disney calling me for? That image they love so much, so that's why they hired me. I did a huge project in Disney. It was smart, like did a big event at Disney World in Orlando. They flew me out, had a bunch of fun, painted live at Epcot Center. My painting still lives there. It was a total opposite thing. Really? But maybe I could have got another person that would have not liked it. But in the world, it worked out, which is funny.
And that's just because you reached out to them and said, like, do you mind if I use
that
this
went through a company that I was working with, like more on a management side, and they were working with Disney on this very large project, and they included me as a part of it. I didn't reach out to Disney directly.
Gotcha. Not this time.
I didn't want to, because I didn't want to raise any flags. That's truth.
Gotcha.
Like I was like, I'm not going to reach out to the Muhammad Ali family, even though I've done a ton of pictures. I've done pictures where I don't have the legal rights to them, of like Shaquille O'Neal or stuff, and he's seen them and signed them for me and take them. I've done a ton of pictures of celebrities that I've given to the celebrities, and or they've purchased it, of pictures of themselves, purchased it, and I didn't have the rights to those images.
I guess in those situations it's a call on their end if they feel like you're using their image to,
negatively or to
sell your art, essentially. Sure. Just to bring familiarity to your art, or whether it's just because you're inspired by them and you want to blow up kind of their image and use their image for a message in your art.
Yep.
Now, as an artist looking into the future, what's your biggest fear?
When I think about like what I fear, I fear complacency. Like I fear myself being comfortable.
Being comfortable.
Because I saw myself get comfortable at times in my life, whether it's been monetarily, whether it's been because things are just rolling and I'm comfortable, and I see with the negative that can bring.
That's when you slow down.
Yeah.
So when you're creating new pieces, do you think or consider which of your previous pieces have been most successful and then sort of try to emulate them, or do you not let...
Successful financially?
Or not even financially, but audiences have received them very positively. Do you sort of try to emulate them, or do you just kind of put that aside and think, you know what, no, I want to create this other piece with this vision and just go for it regardless of what other people have told you about previous work?
When I'm creating pieces for myself, no. I don't really care about what's done well financially or reaction. Because if, like, one of my biggest paintings ever that everyone loved, I sold thousands of prints of where it was a Mickey Mouse head with the vintage Mickey Mouse images in the back. I can do a whole gallery of that, and people will love it. I've never done it again. I did a new Mickey Mouse for my new show. It's Mickey and Minnie, totally different concept, astronomically different than my other one, because if I start thinking of like, oh, what's sold or what people like, I will get down a path that becomes very bad in 6 months to a year, because then I'm going to only be doing what people want.
Right.
And it will go back to me not doing what I want.
It sounds like if you're doing commission, obviously, then yes, you're following some sort of instruction. But if you're just doing a piece for yourself or for an upcoming project, an upcoming gallery, then you're just going to kind of do what you want regardless of what's worked in the past.
Yeah.
Based on what vision you have then.
Yeah, because my art's changing so much. I can look at old abstracts that I did that sold for high dollar amounts, and I don't do those paintings anymore. Just for whatever reason, I just don't make that anymore. So I don't even remember how. Like, I really don't. Like, right, some paintings.
You did it once, and
some paintings that I've done, I look back at them like, that's so cool. Why did I do that? Or that's garbage. Why did it sell?
Right. Now,
but it works for people.
Suppose you had to include a photo of a person in an upcoming future piece, and you had 2 photos of 2 different people, but each of them was in the same pose. Mm-hmm. One of the people was a well-known figure, and the other person was just a regular person that no one had ever seen. Which photo would you choose, and why?
Well-known.
Well-known?
Yeah, because
why is that?
So I've done both. I've done pictures of unknown people and stuff like that. Yeah. And a lot of my art, the background story, that's twofold. It's my quotes. It's the depth of my paintings, because it shows the work that it's taken, like the depth and steps
like the
that
layering.
we took. Yeah, and it's also, so this new gallery that we're sitting in is called Steps We Took. And the concept of steps we took were like, these were all the steps we took to get here. A recognizable person has a background story of their own that people don't necessarily need to relate to, because it could be an actress, and I never wanted to be an actress, but there was some form of hurdle that individual had to get over, that she had to get over to achieve what she's doing today. And so I think that it tells a deeper story when I use a recognizable image. Nothing I ever do is controversial, so I wouldn't pick something controversial over someone not, but I do think that having undertones of recognizable, and sometimes just a recognizable pose. I've done like silhouette paintings before where it's like the Elvis pose. It's not Elvis at all, but it looks like Elvis dancing. People can resonate with that because they can say, oh, I love all the aesthetics of this, but also Elvis had a story that was really unique to me, and it inspired me at this time in my life, or wherever it is. So I think not using the likeness, that's why these new ones I've cut like half their faces off and I've blown them out of proportion, I'm not trying to use a likeness of Ali to make the transaction. I'm trying to use all the things that I do, plus the undertone of, it was really hard to become Ali.
Gotcha. Which is, I guess, sort of, it works with your beliefs of, you can do everything and anything you want with hard work, and you can get yourself to where you want to be.